Today we will be talking about sexual harassment prevention. Sexual harassment is never pretty. Stop it before it gets ugly. The definition of sexual harassment is any unwelcome sexual behavior at work. There are two types of cases of the situation: quid pro quo sexual harassment, which is approximately 20% of all cases, and a hostile work environment case, which is approximately 80% of all cases. There are many statistics about sexual harassment. 31% of females have reported being sexually harassed at work, but in reality it is most likely 40 to 70%. 7% of males have reported being sexually harassed at work. In reality, it is most likely 10 to 20%. 62% of victims of sexual harassment did not report it. 100% of women claim that the harasser was a man. 59% of men claim that the harasser was a woman. But most shockingly, 41% of men claim that the harasser was a man.
Next, I will discuss the stereotypes of men and women in the workplace so you can be aware of them and do not assume your coworkers fit into these stereotypes. First, the stereotypes of women. First is the sex object. The sex object is the stereotype of women that defines women in terms of their sexuality. This leads to judgments based on their looks and their actions. The second is the mother. This stereotype assumes that women have motherly instincts and have to do the emotional labor of caring for others. It can lead to job segregation, which is discrimination. Third is the stereotype of the child. This assumes that women are not to be taken seriously, assuming that they are incapable or incompetent of the same work activities of men. Lastly is the stereotype of the Iron Maiden. She is independent and ambitious. However, she is perceived as unfeminine and rough around the edges. Next are the three stereotypes of men in the workplace. There is the sturdy oak, the self-sufficient pillar. Men seen this way have trouble admitting faults or doubts. Next is the fighter. He is seen as aggressive and relentless, leaving no room for flexibility or collaboration. Finally, there is the breadwinner, whose life goal is to make money and provide for his family. If his identity is linked too much to this idea, it can lead to intense psychological problems.
The EEOC's guidelines define two types of sexual harassment: quid pro quo and hostile work environment. Under the quid pro quo form of harassment, a person in authority, usually a supervisor, demands sexual favors of a subordinate as a condition of getting or keeping a job benefit. In Latin, it means this for that. One example is the case of Henson versus City of Dundee, where a female police dispatcher, Henson, worked for the City of Dundee for 2 years, during which time the police chief subjected her to numerous demeaning sexual verbal attacks. The case provided a general definition of unwelcome conduct. The case established the challenged conduct must be unwelcome in the sense that an employee did not solicit or incite it, in the sense that the employee regarded the conduct as undesirable or offensive. Hostile work environment occurs when a reasonable person would feel that the environment was hostile on the basis of sex discrimination. Sexual harassment is considered sex discrimination because sex is a protected class. An example from 1986, the Supreme Court case in Meritor Savings Bank versus Vinson. The decision set stage for a broader definition of sexual harassment. It also gave rise to a debate over two related issues. The degree of abuse is needed to constitute hostility that interferes unreasonably with a victim's work performance, and what is the nature and extent of an employer's liability for a hostile work environment. 4 components of a hostile work environment. 1. A situation that would not have occurred but for the gender of the harassed employee. 2. The situation would need to be viewed as extreme or repetitive. 3. A reasonable male or female in the community would feel that this is a hostile environment. And 4. The conditions of employment change have become hostile or abusive to the victim. Steps to reduce risk. Be assertive. State what you want. Use a confident voice and body posture. Next, be prepared. Travel with a buddy or in groups. And remember to stay in control. Be alert. Watch for signs of trouble. Trust your instincts. And remember to report unauthorized visitors.